And Marcel, we are very live. We are very, very live. How are you?
Bravo. I am beyond perfect. And how about yourself?
Amazing, amazing. Happy, very happy to see you. Very happy to be online. And I'm excited for what we're going to talk about. I think it will be amazing. And Carmela, hello. She just joined us. So
That's very good.
Let's have some fun. I'm ready.
Absolutely. 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 Life is good. And since we have been doing these interviews, in addition to all our very busy activity, interacting with each other, seminars, webinars, you name it. But these interviews, they have brought a very interesting element to expose ourselves further and to be able to communicate with whoever wants to listen to what we have to say. I'm super excited about this, as a result of which I said, okay, Fridays are dedicated for this purpose, because based on the commentary that I'm receiving, and I'm sure you are as well, people are thanking us for doing this. We don't need millions, we just need a few people here, a few people there. Organically, we are growing, and then judging from the commentaries that we are receiving, I know that we are doing the right thing. Since this is a greater good activity, so to speak, then we must do more of it, much more of it. So that is really my opening commentary. I'm super happy and super committed, and we shall continue to do this as long as you are available. That's one.
I'm very happy with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know that. Well, let us say that you saw this coming, and although COVID was very helpful, but regardless, you in particular, and we were all ready in order to jump into the opportunity after COVID to see what is it that we can do. Whatever we can do today, we were also able to do it long before COVID, but it appears that COVID is like a 2x4. Everybody is much more awake right now. Everybody is much more interested to listen to fresh ideas, although our ideas are already really long-standing. So it's really a great thing. Many of the things we do on the interviews, actually, it is repeat for us, except that now we are doing it in the public domain to benefit the others and then for them to join us. And in particular, one of the interviews that you did this week with John and Janelle regarding the parenting, obviously it was excellent. And I was just about texting you, Meir, please put this back on YouTube a few times or on Facebook for people to view it. Excellent job. For us, excellent reminder in terms of the kids. And especially right now, during the COVID season, funny enough, if you will, the children are handling COVID and the lockdown much better than the adults.
Yeah.
Just to prove to the point that they may have small bodies, but mind-wise and their spirituality-wise, they are handling it much better. How do we know? Because things are much smoother at home among the family members than the adults really can definitely learn from that. Okay, so in the last few weeks, from my perspective anyways, we covered some issues with regards to the economy, real estate, even we spoke a little bit about the landlords, and in one of the interviews even spoke about stock market, so forth and so on. And then you also had a couple of sessions on the rioting. Certainly you spoke a lot about COVID. And then of course there are many other insidious sources out there that are visible to some eyes, but not necessarily to everybody. So what I wanted to talk today, at the beginning anyways, about this social networks, the Googles, the Facebooks, and the YouTubes, and I will tell you in particular what to talk about. People like it, people, they use it, but these platforms, they have de facto, they become the public square. It is almost, they are running the country. So much so that and they are not ashamed to talk about it, whether it is Facebook or Google, they select which politician or which president to vote, whatever is good for the country, so to speak, not whatever is good for them. And who knows what are the other agendas that they follow. And the last thing I'll say is that by last statistics or by last measures and commentaries, I understand that on a moment's notice, Google and Facebook, if they were to send directed or redirected messages to the public to vote for this or that candidate, and they distribute those messages to certain people that they know who they're going to vote for, and that number appears to be 10 to 15 million people. With 10 to 15 million people difference, you can elect anybody. So how does the public deal with that? With that kind of insidious power, which is entrenched, and how do we elect the preferred people to us from the political and from other perspectives?
Okay. So I think that what we need to look at is how public opinion work. Okay. Public opinion work by every group has someone they rely on. They have an opinion leader. Okay. And those opinion leader is who the group listen to. Every group has an opinion leader. He's not necessarily the guy that you like or don't like, but he's the guy that when he says, I think blah, everyone aligned to him. And if you will look, you will see that that's how it works. There's an actual opinion leader. It was always like that. It will, for as long as people are not awake, it will be like that, okay? And now those opinion leaders obviously have their own opinion leader and so forth. Up to the president has his opinion leader, yes? Everyone listen to someone, and those someone somehow come all together to the person that speak the most, the media. Now the media, you think about it as CNN or this or that, but it's not. The media is actually a person. There's a person that defines the agenda. So the agendas that you get through the chains of opinion leaders are very, very specific, very, very defined. They are really exact. They've been engineered for the people to think in a certain way. And the question is, what's the handling? What's the handling? And the handling is quite simple, but because it's so simple, people don't do it. So what's the handling? The handling, the law is very simple. The law is simple. If the media, if the message that you get makes you an effect, not cause, the message is a lie. I'll give it to you again. If the message that you hear, if someone try to convince you how you are more effect, how you are not cause, the message is a lie. It's not important if it's coming from your parents that tells you, you know, if you will not study, you will not be successful. Nonsense. It's a lie. If you will not go to school, you will not be successful. It's a lie. Yes, because most entrepreneurs never got to school or were not doing good in school, and are doing very well. Millionaires and billionaires did not necessarily go to school. Most didn't.
Correct.
So if it makes you an effect, if someone tell you be afraid, if someone tell you you are not cause, if someone tell you you are not the source and cause of your future, he is lying to you, and not only lying to you, he actually wants to badly control you. And if you will get that, if you will understand that, your life will change at that moment, because you will stop listening to how you are not good, not good, not good, not good. And don't think that if you hear something like you should be afraid, it doesn't mean that it's not affecting you. If you hear that, if you hear it again and again and again, and you don't know 100% it's a lie, and you don't define it as it's a lie, it will affect you. You will become afraid. And what does it mean to be afraid? It's mean an unwillingness to communicate, an unwillingness to look. So basically they say, look, we know that you're powerful. We know that you're cause. We will throw sand into your eyes 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, until you will agree that you are a fact. And once you agree that you're afraid, once you agree that you are not cause, once you agree that things happen to you and you did not cause them, you start to go down, and the more you go down, the more effect you are. The only way out of this quicksand is to realize it is you. It is you that create your future. It is you that define what's happened with you. It is you that define everything, everything. And when you are cause, you're creating your future. And when you affect, you're stuck in the past. And once you realize it is you, you can do something about it. And before you realize this, it is you, you cannot do something about it because it's not you. And that's the beginning, the middle, and the end. That's the story. And at that moment, the moment that you know it's you, the media have no power because you smell the rat. It's trying to make you an effect. You don't eat it because it's a rat. Yes. Make sense?
Absolutely. It seems like it was true before as well, but so much more right now with the COVID and people slowly but surely understanding that the media is pulling a veil on them. Then this combined actually with fear itself, mind you, we are increasing the problem of mental health. Yeah. So everybody is going more and more mental, which means that they are going really in the opposite direction. Instead of being less effect and be more cause, they are becoming more and more effect, and they cannot really help it. Yeah. So in one of the interviews that was done recently, a specific question was asked, how do you handle mental health? And why I'm asking that question, although it may be repeated to some extent, is because it can be a tool. In the evening news, if you are at home all day or coming home in the evening after work, if you have any work left, then turn off the TV, then go for a walk, something like that. So can you just provide your advice on how people can, whether they realize it or not, they have a mental situation? We all do. We are affected, we are influenced. What is a practical way of dealing with that?
Okay, good. Just before I answer that, I just want to say hi and thank you for all the people that join us. On Instagram, I don't see your comments because this application we're using, you cannot see the comments on Instagram, but thank you for being there. If you have any questions, you can send me on private message on Instagram, and you can follow me on Instagram, Meir Ezra Official, on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitter. I would see your comments, and I want to say hi to Dolly. Hi, nice to see you, Dolly, here. And Dana, hi. And Carmela, of course, and Swapna. And Swapna say also hi to Marcel.
Thank you.
Yes, so very, very nice to see you here. And please start a watch party. Start a watch party so more people will get this data. It's really needed. Okay, so back to your question. Okay, mental health. How do you become mental? You become mental by looking inward, You become crazy when you don't see anymore anything outside. You look only inward, only in your past. So the more you look in your past, the more insane you are. I actually define the word insane as attention stuck in the past. It's not doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That's the common definition. It is not the definition of insane. That's actually the definition of tenacity. This is the definition of someone really strong that going on and on and on and continuing to go towards his target. Insanity is attention stuck in the past. So you see something, it reminds you something, and you go ballistic. Okay, so that's insanity. Now, how do you stop insanity? You don't get things to hit you. When you sit in front of a screen and it hits you, it's going in, you become insane. When you feel that you're down, when you feel you don't have energy, when you feel that you are worried, what you need to do is to force yourself. And for 5 seconds, and only 5 seconds, go and clean. And then another 5 seconds, clean and clean. Do the dishes, organize the clothes, do the garden, clean under the bed, wash things, move things. And when you finish to do all of that, go out and look at buildings and just do things that put your attention outward. Do things that have to do with handling the physical universe. Move the physical universe around. And if you'll do that, you will discover the most unbelievable thing in the universe. That this thing is the gym for the spirit. What do I mean it's the gym for the spirit? The spirit is this thing that generates energy. It's an endless source of energy. The word the spirit in Greek is described with the letter theta. And theta means in Greek, endless source of energy. You create energy, not your body, not the food. You create energy. And you create energy by putting out communication, by doing things. You become successful, sane, able when you put out energy. You become cuckoo when you start to consume energy. You become a failure when you start to consume energy. So what you need to do to handle any depression, to handle anything that is not optimal with you, is to force yourself to move physical things around you. Now, if things go really bad, if someone is really insane, and it can be that someone will go really nuts because he didn't do this thing when he should have, and you want to help him, so there's two conditions. Number one, he went nuts and he is now on medication, or if he's not on medication. If he's on medication, you need to get him off medication, and you need a doctor, and you need to take him off medication. And by the way, I'm not a doctor, and what I'm giving you is not a medical advice. I'm telling you what I would do. You need to always ask a doctor if something goes wrong, yes? But this is my advice. This is what I would do. Then if the guy is going totally crazy, bipolar, something going totally crazy, and he's not on medication, you take him, and again, with the help of a doctor, but you take him in both cases, they need to be one, if he's on medication, get him off the medication. If he's not on medication, you don't need that step. And you take him to a place that have a lot of space and nothing going on, like the middle of the desert. You put it there, and all you do with that person for 3-4 weeks, you take him for very, very, very long walks where he looks at things. And you minimal talking, you just walk with him. If you ask something, you acknowledge him, but you don't initiate talks, you don't talk, you don't tell him, you don't explain, you don't nothing. You just walk with him for 8-10 hours per day until he's exhausted. And when he's exhausted, you put him to bed to sleep. And when he wakes up, you take him to again. And in between, you give him very good food, very healthy food, no sugar, etc. Very healthy food and vitamins, minerals, and oil. And that's all. If you do that for 3-4 weeks, the guy at one point will say, whoa, what's going on? He will realize what's going on. He will make a decision, and you will see, he will come back to be a better version of himself. Now, very important to understand that you cannot cure mental problems with medication. Because what does it mean, mental? Mental means the spirit is sick. If the spirit is sick, the body is not the spirit. You are the spirit, you have a body. And if the spirit is sick, the body is not necessarily sick. It may be sick because the spirit not taking responsibility, but the body is not sick. The spirit is sick. That's why there's no any blood test or any kind of a physical test that can tell you the guy is insane. There is a test only for physical problem. For COVID, there is a test, even if the test is not accurate. But for COVID, there is a test. But there is no test for spiritual problems, yes? You need someone to look at you, and the psychiatrist say, well, I think you have blah, 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 blah. And you go to another psychiatrist, and he look and say, no, I think that you have blah, blah, blah. And you go to another psychiatrist, he would say something else. They have opinions. It's opinions, it's not fact. With medicine, proper medicine, you have an actual fact, yes? The guy do a test, and there's a result, and the result tell you that's what he has, and that's the end of that. So, because there is no any medical, any scientific proof that the body has anything to do with mental health. What you do when you take medication to handle mental health problems, you multiply, you double the problem. Now you have the spirit is sick and it stays sick, and you've got the body and you give it drugs, so you created the druggie. So it is very similar to if you've got a problem, you have a guy that has all kind of financial problems and he starts to take drugs, the financial problems stay. And now he has another problem that the body becomes sick because of the drug. So never, ever, in my opinion, never, 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 never take drugs to handle spiritual problem or mental health issue problem. Never, never, never. That's number one. And number two, if you did take it, stop you taking it as soon as you can with the help of a doctor. Why with the help of a doctor? Because those drugs are worse than street drugs. They're very addictive. Very, very, very. If you try to stop by yourself, you can kill yourself. So that's my viewpoint on mental health. And I just want to say hi to Elaine. Hi, so nice to see you. And Tariq, hi, nice to see you. You are on YouTube. They're watching us on YouTube. I'm very, very happy.
Good.
By the way, if you have any specific question, if you have anything that you want to ask me about any subject, shoot, and I will see the question and I will answer. Okay. Okay, good. Let's continue.
You mentioned the spirit being sick, yet the body not. Can you briefly describe what makes the spirit sick vis-a-vis the body or vis-a-vis the mind, for example? Can you comment on that?
Yeah. So the spirit. So what is the spirit? You can look at life that the physical universe started at one point. Okay. And it started at one point, and this time that goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Okay. Now this point of when the physical universe started, we start to have here physical thing, all kind of physical thing. And if you look at all physical thing, you'll see that they're composed of twos, plus and minus. Everything in this universe composed of two. For every force, there's counter force. In order to have good, you need bad. In order to have tall, you need short. Beautiful, ugly. In order to have a wife, you need an insane husband. No, I'm just joking. So you always need the opposite, yes? So you always need an opposite. So you've got plus and minus. So if everything is composed of two, it means that the first thing, that the building block of this universe is two, plus and minus. Does it make sense?
To me, it does.
Good. So the building block of this universe is plus and minus, which means that the first thing that happened in this universe, something put here plus and minus. Okay? So we've got plus and minus. This is a plus and minus, and this is the beginning. This is the start. Now, what the word start mean? Start mean was not here before. Start mean was not here before, which means when something started, it was not here before. If iPhone started in 2007, in 2006, it was not here before. Okay? So the thing that created the first two particles was not composed of two particles, because it started here, which means it was not here before. So we can say that the physical universe is a universe of anything that composed of two, and the creation of the two was something that was not composed of two. So this thing is called a nothingness, and a nothingness, which nothingness means anything that is not composed of two, has the ability to create a somethingness. Okay? This nothing that has the ability to create the somethingness is called the spirit. Okay? So the spirit is a nothingness that has the ability to create any somethingness, anything you want. You can create just by ideas. You put an idea out, and you will see that you put the idea and it will materialize at one point, okay? So what does it mean to be insane? You are as insane as you lose your ability to bring something out of nothing. The more you believe that there is a reason within your past to what happened right now, the more insane you are, which means if this is the beginning and this is the first 2 particles and they created another 4 particles and they created another 16 particles, and at one point you look and you say, well, the 64 particle got created because of the 16 before and before, and you think that there's always some kind of a reason. So the more the more past, the more reasons you accumulate to things, the more useless you, the spirit, become, because reason now becomes senior to you. So the created become senior to the creator. And at that moment,
Yes.
you become dead. Because you die when you believe truly that you cannot create anymore. You die, the moment that you die is the moment that you decided there's nothing more I can create. And the more you get to that point, the more insane you are, because what does it mean insane? Is to stuck on the past. Actually, you can say that your past is the sum of all your limitation. Because if we will rely on the past, if people will really rely on the past and they will never realize that they can bring something out of nothing, do you understand we will never fly? You understand we will never have big cities? We will never have airplanes. We will never have cell phones, because we have cell phone because someone said, the hell with the limitation. I will find a way. And they bend the physical universe to behave according to what they want, and they did not behave to act according to what the physical universe wants. And that's what most people are doing. So the more you believe that the physical universe is senior to you, the more insane you are. And the moment that you realize that you are not part of the physical universe, you are the boss. The moment that you realize, I am the boss, the moment that you've got that, whoa, and you start to take to the physical universe and you say, the boss is here. That's what's going to happen. The moment that you take that viewpoint, you will see that you will become cause. The physical universe will start to obey to you, and there will be no pain for you, ever. And by the way, I bow, Ola, bow, just join us.
Perfect. It seems, based on what you are saying, that we have a number or a measure of creators, and everybody else essentially are followers, which is the start of their problems. And what we are really about is converting followers to creators. Make sense to you?
Yeah. Basically, the way to... What I'm saying is that most people think that learning is a process of adding data. But what I say is learning is a process of deleting data. Because you already know, and the deleting data, what you do is actually, if this is the beginning and you've got all this past, I remove the reliance on the past, and at one moment you find out that the way out of this mess that's called the physical universe is through the entrance. You go back to here and you can create. Now you can jump to here momentarily when you have big luck, when things happening as you want, when things are amazing, you can jump momentarily to that moment before the beginning, and you as the spirit can put something there and it just happened, and people look at you and say, wow, you're so powerful. Those people that are, wow, so powerful, are just basically saying, the hell with the past. I can be here at the beginning. And you do that by going to before the past. So you can say all your future start before your past. I know it sounds twisted, but your future start before your past. You will have as much future as you don't have past. Take a child, he just born, he has no past, so he has a lot of future.
Absolutely.
Old person agreed with a lot of past. So he's sure he's going to die, and he hope he will not go to where he's supposed to go, or to what he deserves. Yes. So, so this is an old man. Yes. He has so much past that for him he's old because the past limit him for so many things. There's so many limitations. So he cannot start a new company. He cannot start a new hobby. He cannot start a new adventure. He is relying on his past. But if he could, you take people that their body is old, but they starting things, they coming up with things. Why? Because they said, the hell with the past. For me, I'm the creator. For me, there's no time. So you have as much future as you ignore your past, as you delete your past, as you do not create your past. So your future is actually before, your future start before your past. That's an unbelievable viewpoint.
Which is a great definition for what is the difference between children and adults.
Yeah.
The children, they do that very well, and we fail to see it because we are so much conditioned, let us say, by the physical universe. Incidentally, what you are describing is what successful business people, successful entrepreneurs are made of. They may or may not be talking about it, but they have really mastered to be the creators of new ideas, which is what makes them to a success that really they are.
Yeah,
that's great. So such people really then, other than being healthy, they must have a mind in good condition, the definition of which being no fake realities, correct data, so forth and so on. But they have also cognited on being spiritual beings, which is not really a language either discussed at the academic level or in the marketplace, so to speak. Yet the successful ones in these environments are the ones who are practicing exactly that. So they cognited on their spirituality. And when they say, I am the boss, they don't really mean I am the boss in terms of a physical boss. I have money, I have business. They mean I am the boss from a spiritual perspective, the source of everything. So I want to dovetail with that into, there is a new study area that you have embarked on, because some people, they have approached you, some well-established people in the, how shall I call it, in the yoga industry, not meditation, yoga industry. And they know what they know about the yoga, but when they have listened to you time and again, they made a connection to some extent that there is more to what they know, and that essentially they don't quite know what they thought they know about the yoga. And one thing led to another, and you started a series of presentations, webinars on talking about yoga. And by the way, you are not teaching yoga in terms of movement, physical movements. You are talking about yoga as to what is it based on, where it is coming from, in terms of the subject, more or less, that we are talking about here. Now, this Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, there is another webinar coming up, I think at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this particular subject. Nothing will please me more if more and more people join that, because they're going to get a deeper taste of what we're talking about really here. So having said that, I'm not asking you to do a selling job, because it is not really necessary, and everything sells by itself because they are so right, they are so true. Do you think that you can present the ideas that you have in regards to what is right about yoga, what is wrong about yoga, and how can people embark on it? It made a very big difference to me, even over the last few months that we were just talking about this yoga. A lot of things, they start to fall in place in that regard. So I very much personally appreciate all that you are teaching in that regard, but we need many other people to appreciate it and to join us. Can you please take the floor and then talk about the yoga plans?
Yeah, for sure. So The history of why I'm into yoga is because I have a friend, and she is a very, very, very advanced yoga teacher, and she can do all the asanas, all the poses that looks amazing, and she's doing it really correctly, and she really understands it, and she is a very good teacher as well. And but she realized, she was honest enough to realize that when she teaches the theory, the spiritual theory of yoga, which is really summarized in the Yoga Sutras, she doesn't get a result. She actually do not get the expected result. She see people do not improve. She see that people say that they're very spiritual, but they cannot buy a loaf of bread. They are very spiritual, but they have terrible relationship. They're very spiritual, but they don't understand anything about the physical universe. They're very spiritual, but they don't know how to fix an upset. So she said, well, that's not spiritual. Then why should I be spiritual if I cannot do anything with it? Why for? And she started to study with me, and she started to work with me, and she told me, you know, I really want to understand these Yoga Sutras. I said, let me read it. And I read it, and I said, you cannot understand it. And she said, what do you mean? I said, you cannot understand it. And she said, what do you mean you cannot understand it? I said, let's do an exercise. Let's take 15 people that study them, and I'll ask them a few questions, and let's see if they can explain to me the first 2 sutras. Not everything, no, not 20, not 196, just 2. And we've checked it with few people, and I've asked on a webinar of about 300 people, and not one person could explain any of those.
That's right.
Say them, you've been on that webinar, right? They could
That's
say,
right. That's right.
They could say them, they could parrot them, but when I ask them, what does it mean? And when I a little bit pushed to actually explain to me, I'm 6 years old, explain it to me. They couldn't. Now, why they couldn't is not because they are not clever. It's because what's written there is not complete. Now, why is it not complete? Because this thing was so powerful that the actual full version was a combination. It's basically was encrypted. There was something that's written, and there was a public key, that's what's written, and then there's the private key, which is what was moving from one person to another as a secret. And about 2,560 years ago, there was the last actual yogi, and with him, when he died, he took with him the key.
Huh.
And the key is not there. And so you have a message, an encrypted message that no one can read. No one can read. And that's the problem. Now, when you cannot read something, but you know that it's powerful, what people do, they start to invent. They invent definitions, they invent explanation. And the more they invent, the bigger the mess. So there are all kinds of opinions about the Yoga Sutras, and there are many, 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 many books. And if you read the books, and if I'll ask you to actually explain what's written there, you will see that you may be able to parrot it, but you won't be able to explain it. So she said, so what are we going to do? I said, well, the only way to do is to get everyone not to listen to what I think is the definitions there, what I think is the secret key, because I'm just another opinion. Who make me so important that I have the secret key? So she said, what are we doing? I said, what we will do, I will teach everyone how to recover the secret key. How to recover the secret key. So you have 200 people on a webinar or in a seminar, and everyone, without talking to each other, each one is in a different country, each one not talking to each other at all, everyone find the same definition. So basically we rewrite the Yoga Sutras. And everyone write it the same. Not because I told them what to write, but because they realized what it means. And that's what I'm doing with the Yoga Sutra. I actually get you to realize that the Yoga Sutra, as they are today, unfortunately, they're not even a shadow of what they were supposed to be. And you need to find the truth. Actually, if you will follow what the Yoga Sutra say today, because you will not actually understand, you will get worse. You will get worse. And that's quite fascinating because everyone instinctively knows that they're powerful, but they don't get the result. So even the people that wrote books about the subject, when they talk to me, they find out that actually they themselves don't know what they talked about. And I know it's not easy to hear, but try me. Listen to one of those Yoga Sutra seminars, and you will see that what you thought that you know is just a lie. And
we have been working together for many years. I can attest to it that it is hard to swallow, hard to confront. It is just a matter of plowing through it, and then the day comes and you start understanding. Thereafter, you have the ability to confront anything coming your way, including this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really it is really important data that you need to delete in order for you to find what you want to find. So you have all kind of filters in front of you, and only when you remove all those filters where you see the truth. And while you have the filters, you think that you see something right. But if you don't know there are filters there, you don't know that you don't see the truth, and you are sure that you see the truth. But the only indication that you don't see the truth is no results. So for as long as you don't have results in life, for as long as you don't feel that you use your full potential, for as long as your results not paralleling your potential, you still did not see the truth. Because the moment that you see the truth, you see yourself. And the moment that you see yourself, nothing is the limit. Not the sky and not the sea, and nothing is the limit. There's actually not limit for you because you are the creator of the limitations. That's how powerful you are.
We all are.
Yeah.
We all are. We just need to bring more and more people around the table, and then at least to have a listen, and then they can make up their own mind what they hear if it is talking to them. In all these years that we have been working together, I have never ever seen anybody not liking it or not understanding it or living for God's sake. So never ever had an experience like this, that what we are learning, what we are understanding, finding ourselves, so to speak, is keeping us together ever since we met.
Yeah,
that is beautiful.
Yeah, it's really powerful. It's very applicable, very powerful. It is something that once you've learned, it is the philosophy, or you can say this is the philosophy or the blueprint of the physical universe, the spiritual universe, and the interaction between them. And this blueprint, once you understand it, make you a godlike being. And I'm not exaggerating. It makes you a god-like being. And I'm not talking about you are the God. Yes, don't mix that with the real God. Yes, or the God. I'm talking about God-like, which means you have such an abilities to bring something out of nothing.
We briefly covered it in one of the previous interviews, that is what, so to speak, gods have told us, that we are created in their image and that we are our own gods. That's all there is to it. Mm-hmm. So we are not getting it, letting it get to our head, so to speak. Mm-hmm. That is really very good. So again, it is coming up this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And we are all public enough, especially yourself, so people, they can find their way to register for that webinar, or do you want to mention it?
Yeah, you can go to www.meirezra.com/yoga. So Meir is MEIR M-E-I-R, Ezra is E-Z-R-A, so meirezra.com/yoga. And you can just follow me on Instagram, Meir Ezra Official, and write me a private message, and I always answer. And while I cannot guarantee that you will like my answers, I can guarantee that they will be effective. They will help you. Not sure you like them, but if you do what I suggest, I can put money on it that it will help you. So
I also want to mention that you always offer to the public, those who know you or they don't know you, that they can access you with an email or by whatever means, and then whatever questions they may have, and that you do respond. And then we are here to attest that you do respond to any and all questions really coming your way. So whatever they may want to discuss, you are open to that as well. There is no such individual with such wealth of information that is providing, how shall I call it? I will not call it a service, help to people that you know and to strangers, even if they are calling you from China. You're all game for it. It is really great to have you in our circles as part of our family. Great life experience to be with you, and then to attend the seminars, not so much right now, but the webinars, and doing such interviews. Anybody watching us, they know that we are talking from the heart, from the mind. We know who we are, what we are saying. There is nothing not to buy about what we are really saying. We are fairly entirely natural. We are talking the same language. I'm sure that many people listening to this, they are getting it, and many of them are joining us as we progress. Yeah. So we have a webinar coming up at the 4 p.m., which is another thing altogether. So you need to prepare for that a little bit.
Yes.
So you're okay with that?
Yeah. Thank you, Marcel. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you.
3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. South Africa time, 10 p.m. Europe. Join I think it's the one before last, free, totally free Yoga Sutras webinars. Join, you will change your life, like 100%, and things will improve for you, and you will see it's 100%. meirezra.com/yoga, or Instagram, Meir Ezra Official. Follow me. And if you want to see what I'm talking about, what's the subject that I'm talking about, go to YouTube and watch my videos. I have hundreds or thousands of videos there about any subject, from children to business, to sales, to marketing, PR, online marketing, offline marketing, you name it, hiring, firing, delivery, any subject you want is there. And what I present there, you will not hear anywhere else. It's different. Okay, Marcel, thank you very much. Thank you for everyone that joined us. Thank you for everyone that's listening. Please, if you see once you saw the video, please share it with other people. And if you have any questions about what I say or about any subject, private message me. And I think the last thank yous is for Amit and Swapna that always help us to set up things. And big thank you for Shamaya that helped setting up this whole idea of Facebook Lives. Although actually Kapil was the first person that told me, you need to do restreaming, but Shamaya pushed it to a done. And of course to Gali and to you, Marcel, and I will see you again on next Friday, same time.
Next Friday, 2:30, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you soon.